Welcome back to part 2 with Martin Smith.
Going to move on now to recording and gigs. Now, which came first? Did you start doing the gigs first before you started recording with them, or did Tony, because you were the new drummer and everything, did he get you straight into the studio? Or
no, I think we did a few gigs first, because you still doing, the Man in the Box was still doing really, really good.
Because the TJM tour was, I mean, Screwdriver was supposed to be on the TJM tour.
Oh, I know.
And
that cost me a new set of skins, that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and of course we'd split up by then and everything. But the TJM tour, was that 1979? When was it? Was it?
Well, I don't know, you're talking 45 and 46 years ago, so to remember everything, you know.
Have you not got your diary?
You're joking. So the TJM tour, yeah, I remember the bus turned up outside there and we was all in a line. There's a picture, I think, still on YouTube or whatever, where what we did was, it was the Frantic Elevators, fronted by Mick Hucknall. It was, I think, called Private Sector and V2. And what we did was, instead of standing in line as a band, we all mingled with one another. So the picture, look, you can't tell who's with whose band. It was just all that. We must have arranged to have done that, I don't know. And that was just before the coach took off. And Tony brought the album out, as you know, which V2 did. The first track, Identity Parade, that's right. Yeah. So we did the Overture, which was the opening on one side, and City Creatures was on the B side, which I played on both of them. But we did several songs in the studio all at once. But we did tour first, I think. Not for that. Other gigs before the Identity Parade thing. We played other little venues first.
So in my notes here, Sheffield Top Rank.
That was I think that was one of the early ones. That was a smashing place. That was a belting venue, really big high stage.
Well, they were featuring a lot of the top bands at the time. I mean,
they had a gigantic drum riser at the top. I'll never forget that gig because the house lights was about 2 foot from the back of my neck. Right. Ended up with like sunburn on the back of my neck from the lights. The Frantic Elevators played that. But
I've got Middlesbrough Rock Garden.
We did Middlesbrough Rock Garden. That was covered in the Musical Express and Sounds. That Mick Hucknall got quite a good write-up for that. He did quite a good performance that day with the Elevators.
Did you speak to him much?
Not so much. No, he was like, he always seemed to be very, very quiet. You know. Always there with his big coat on and everything, and you know, it was a bit of a shock to my system really years and years later, because when I seen him there, I just remember him shouting, "Every day I die, every day I die." I thought, what's all that about? It wasn't my cup of tea, to tell you the truth. But I can remember years and years later, after I remember watching the television, and all of a sudden he's there with Money's Too Tight to Mention on the telly, and I'm like, that's the same guy who's singing "Every Day I Die." I can't believe it. Where's that voice come from? Well, because they didn't seem to have it then.
Well, if the trouble is, if you remember, when we'd finished sort of the punk and post-punk days, you'd be watching Top of the Pops, and me and you'd be ringing each other. So I've seen who's on Top of the Pops, and we'd see everyone we knew. Sort of thing.
I mean, if I had known Mick Hucknall was doing that, I would have joined his band and left me to. I'd have moved from any. You know what we was like? Anything to be famous or anything. Exactly. That's all we wanted to do. Make money from music.
I've got you told me you played a theatre in Derby, but you can't remember what it was. But was it?
Yeah, that was a real bad organisers, that one. There was hardly anybody there, so we just entertained ourselves. I mean, the Middlesbrough Rock Garden was absolutely packed out. Sheffield Top Rank was a great gig. And this particular one in Derby, we just got there. It was like an old theatre, so when you stood on the stage, you could see the balcony, you know, on eye level. And it was a really... You would imagine one of these places would be a bingo hall today, in today's, you know.
And then Digbeth Civic Hall, I remember you very clearly ringing me straight after this and saying, "You'll never guess what's happened." So, Digbeth Civic.
No, I'd forgot the title of that, when it was, but I remember the gig as if it was yesterday, because Tony had put Screwdriver on the posters. And this was in Birmingham, where when we was in Screwdriver, we played Barbarella's there and absolutely packed it out. And it was a chocker. There's a massive big skinhead following in that area. So by Screwdriver being on the poster, loads of skinheads turned up.
Right.
So obviously we goes on stage as V2. I think a couple of other bands had gone on before, and we thought, right, this big skinhead following here. So we went on with no makeup on.
Wow.
We changed the words to some of the songs. Instead of Chelsea, whatever it was called, we changed it to Chelsea Skins, and it was called something else. I forget the name of it. And then we played everything as fast as we could. And we said, so there's no Screwdriver here, but we've got the next best thing. We've got Martin, the drummer from Screwdriver. But that still didn't work. So we went on and played. And as soon as we were finished, the Skinheads just ran on the stage, and we ran off the stage and jumped up this balcony, which was facing the stage, to get out of the way. I'm not sure if there's doorman there or whatever. And the Skinheads just went on the stage and smashed everything. Yeah. Every one of my skins was stabbed with drumsticks, so I didn't have one skin left.
Wow.
With bass drum, tom-tom, snare, everything. Yeah. Because they expected Screwdriver to be there. So that was one badly organised thing, that one. So
well, carrying on with gigs, other gigs you did not on that tour. You played the Marquee a couple of times.
Yeah.
Once with Slaughter and the Dogs.
Yeah.
How did that go? What was that like?
Yeah, well, we played with Slaughter before. I think that was the Russell Club.
Right.
In fact, it was one of these Manchester books that was out. I'm not sure if it was either Ian Brown or what you call it, Liam Gallagher. It was the first gig that they ever went to.
Right.
It's documented in the book, to see Slaughter and the Dogs.
Right.
Well, if they would have gone to see Slaughter and the Dogs, you would have seen V2 first.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there's a connection there.
Well, Stan was very friendly with Slaughter and the Dogs. And
again, there's other
bands.
Again, later on, Tony Davison did recorded with we call Studio Sweethearts, I think, which was Rossi.
And when Screwdriver signed for TJM, Slaughter and the Dogs were on the label then.
That's right. So that link was between V2 and Slaughter. But the gig in London with Slaughter, again, in saying that, I think the thing with V2 was, in the 70s, they would have gone perfect, early 70s with the glam thing. Later on, if they would have gone into new romantic thing with that look, that would have been perfect for them. At this particular time, still wearing the glam makeup and things. When we did the Marquee, I mean, the spitting and the throwing of things was ridiculous. I mean, Mark would often point to his mouth like that and go, "Come on, try and get it in there," winding the audience up. But we played really well, but I think it's the image that they wasn't so keen on, and then they obviously went to see Slaughter. So it wasn't. Luckily, I was sat at the back, so things didn't really hit me.
I think that at that point, having seen V2 and how well and tight that you played, and the image and everything, like you say, you were a year too early. In terms of, because all the gigs were still sort of punk or post-punk, and like I say, you also played with Chelsea. At
the Marquee. Well, we did a few gigs with Chelsea, because what happened is you've not got onto the band from America, the Dickies.
No. Well, I'm waiting for.
Right. Well, this is how I got introduced to Chelsea, through the Dickies.
Oh, was it?
Yes.
Right.
Because
so Dickies the tour was first before Chelsea, was it?
No. What happened was, when the Dickies came over, Chelsea was supporting the Dickies.
Yeah.
And we were the next band under that. So there's 3 bands on the tour: the Dickies, Chelsea, and us.
Yeah.
So we toured with them. Yeah. And that's how we met them. And on this particular gig, if you can, we want to go back to the Dickies one in a few minutes. But with the Chelsea gig there, they did one at the Marquee, and they asked us would we support them there. So because we'd already met them on the Dickies tour, you see. So when they did the Marquee, we jumped on that, and we went down better on that one with the Chelsea gig.
Yeah.
Because it weren't the Slaughter crowd. It was like similar. It was, well, not similar, but we went down well on that one.
Yeah. So the Dickies tour, I've got you down here for playing the big gigs, these big venues. De Montfort Hall, Leicester.
Yeah, Leicester, De Montfort Hall,
St George's Hall, Blackburn.
Yeah, that was a cracker, yeah.
West Runton Pavilion.
Yep, yep.
Now, knowing how you like to pint in those days, have you any memory of those whatsoever? Or
Yeah, well, a quick me and Stan story from the Blackburn gig,
Yeah.
King George's Hall.
yeah,
We always used to like winding the other members of the band up, me and Stan. So we'd arrange that we'd take special stuff. So I took 2 chicken's legs and a bottle of sparkling wine, and Stan did the same and a bottle of sparkling wine.
Like you do.
And we're going, we're the rhythm section, we stick together and we're winding all the other lads up before
Yeah.
we're going on, eating chicken and drinking wine and stuff. And just before we went on, I'll never forget it, the Dickies roadie, we're just about to go on stage, the Dickies roadie came in with some handcuffs behind his back, and we walked in on stage and he grabbed hold of Ian Nance and handcuffed him to a radiator. And we went on the stage and we, oh my goodness, we've got no lead guitarist here. So we kicked off with the opening track, bum 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 bum, Max jamming away like this, and we're just trying to do our best and we're going through it, and then they released him about halfway through the track and he comes running on and plugs in and then gets the solo like, but
Yeah.
you know, we was all panicking thinking how long are they going to keep him there for the entire night. So that was a
And what were the
story
Dickies
from
like?
they were all
lads?
they were all right. There was they said a few things to me which I can't I don't really want to repeat.
Fair enough.
But what got me about them was they all thought we were still like knights in shining armour and stuff like that. They'd all read like all these storybooks about
Oh,
princesses
right,
and
that-
kings.
so it's
and
first time in
princes.
England.
Yeah, so,
Yeah.
so they're all thinking everybody's a knight and looking after, you got to behave like this. And when they seen somebody like me and Stan being acting like complete morons, just having
Yeah.
a great time, they was a bit shocked.
Yeah.
So apart from that, they were belting us. And I remember we was gigging one weekend somewhere, there's no music shops open, and I lent their drummer some drumsticks, which his drumsticks were like flipping knitting needles because they played
Yeah.
everything 100 mile an hour,
Yeah.
the banana splits and all that stuff,
Yeah.
and Gigantor. And then later on the tour, when the shops were open again, he gave me some of the sticks that he bought, so I had them for a
right.
while. Like, they were really like knitting needles, and I remember giving them away to some punk fan of V2. But yeah, they were really nice people.
And you had a trip over to Belfast.
Yeah, that was a
2 nights, played 2 nights.
yeah. We went on a Thursday and came back on a Monday, and we played the Friday and Saturday at the Heart Bar
Yeah.
in Belfast.
Which is was a main venue there.
Yeah, it
at the
was a
time,
belting venue, and I think they really treated us well because it was right at the height of the Troubles over
Yeah.
in Belfast. Every street corner had soldiers with guns and jeeps and hiding, cameras
Yeah,
on it.
yeah.
Everywhere you went, there was cameras.
Yeah.
So us being young men in our 20s, all we went for was just to play music. That's
Yeah.
all we wanted to do. We didn't think about it. I mean, you're older at our age now, we probably think, oh, give that a miss,
Yeah.
But when you're that age, you don't think of things like that. So they was really appreciative of us going, and we played the Friday night, went down great. Played the Saturday night, went down great, and then got invited to a place called Hollywood on the beach on the front in Belfast there, and it was just full of beautiful people. I don't know who invited us there or how we got there.
So that wasn't the mushrooms then. It was.
Well, no, we actually went there.
Actually happened.
No, that wasn't the black that I ate on the boat over there that gave me a hallucination. No, so we actually went there. There's like people walking around with these masks that you would see in the films, like in Cabaret and things like that, and Moulin Rouge, and just generally beautiful people. Me and Stan were like, oh, look, and we just made our way for the drinks cabinet.
Just like Mountain Labour Club.
Exactly. Well, we just made our way for the drinks cabinet, and Mark's chatting away, and Dave's chatting away, and Ian's doing his posing bit. And it was just, again, I don't remember how we got away from that place. Me and Stan must have just drank the cabinet dry and crashed out somewhere.
Yeah, it seems to be
Great times.
seems to be something that happened quite a lot. You and Stan.
Oh, yeah,
and,
he did.
And drink.
Yeah, me and Stan did a lot of drinking.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening to part 2. Part 3 coming soon.